Welcome Planeswalkers to the Collector Media YouTube channel. My name is Eric Ward, and for this episode of Brew Preview, we're going to talk about Elenda, the Dusk Rose. Here you can see a 2, a white, and a black legendary creature Vampire Knight, life-linking 1/1. Whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Elenda, the Dusk Rose. When Elenda dies, create X 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink, where X is Elenda's power. So, pretty good here. My first thoughts were kind of like a, kind of a death effect, kind of like Athreos build, I guess. Kind of discovered some cool stuff here, and we'll see here in just a moment. Very good addition to the Vampire Tribe, I'd say. Our first card here is Eternal Pilgrim. The thing I'm looking for here, it's got a great sack outlet on the first ability for 1. Sacrifice a creature, you gain power equal to creature's toughness, not bad. And you can sacrifice another creature, exile target non-land permanent. Pretty good, as long as you've got extra life, which hopefully you do, and you'll see a little bit more. And having life-linking 1/1 vampires isn't too bad. A pretty good 2-drop, I'd say. The next one, Orbs, Sion. Pretty good, a 3-drop here. Sacrifice 3 white creatures, remove target creature from the game. You're going to be getting white vampire creatures, hopefully. And then, not so bad when another black creature you control dies, is put into graveyard from play, get a white spirit with flying. So not bad. Another token generator, another thing to do with your vampires, another kind of death effect thing with sacrificing, pretty decent. Athreos, another good 3-drop here. The thing we care about here, you might have Devotion of 7 in black and white to get this creature going, but you can see here when another creature you own dies, return it to your hand unless our opponent pays 3 life. So not bad to pick on somebody who just went out of the game. Obviously won't work with your tokens because they won't come back to hand, that sort of thing. But another good one dealing with like dying effects, essentially. Vana, Butcher of Magan here can help with the lifelink. You can also pay 7 life, which is another resource in Magic, of course, to destroy target non-land permanent. Again, if you trigger that, you might hit a creature to, again, trigger Elenda. So, pretty good there. Also, a pretty vicious, like, I'd say, combat creature as far as attacking or blocking with the Vigilance, rather. So you might be able to pick off something weak that's swinging through or get a good chump block out of somebody and trigger another death that way. I think kind of the top of the ladder here is Vishkal, Blood Arbiter for 7. Flying lifelink, excuse me. Sacrifice a creature, put X +1/+1 counters on Vishkal, where X is the power. And then here you can see remove all +1 counters. Target creature gets --/ for each +1 removed this way. So if you've got a bunch of vampire creatures, sack a few of them, get Vishkal up to where he needs to be, remove a bunch of counters, kill something, trigger your commander again, kill a few more vampires if you need to, pump them up. Maybe survive a board wipe, like play Vishkal after that, get all your vampires, and then just like sack them all to Vishkal and swing. This card's pretty brutal. If you've played with or against Vishkal, there's a lot you can do with him or her. I don't know. Vishkal. You can do a lot with Vishkal. And especially if you've got a bunch of tokens and stuff too. Moving on, some pretty typical ones. Blood Artist. There's the next one, I think, Zoloport Cutthroat. Very similar. Whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1. I think the Blood Artist says just another creature, so you don't even have to own it. You lose and gain life, so a little bit extra benefit there, especially if you're sacking a whole bunch of stuff here and there. Some really good kind of like ticking cards. You're going to tick your opponents down, get some incremental bonuses here and there. Death Greeter for a single black. Whenever another creature dies, you may gain a life. Very similar there. Harvester of Souls. Whenever another non-token creature dies, you may draw a card. One other thing like that you can see is some of these cards are split between, like Teza. Is it a white creature? Is it a black creature? This one, is it non-token? Is it yours? Like that sort of thing. And the amazing thing is the commander, Elenda, just says a creature. So there's a lot to kind of play with there. I'm really happy they didn't add any other restrictions on that ability. Requiem Angel. Whenever a non-spirit creature control dies, put a 1/1 spirit into play that you can chump. Super, super good. Butcher Malik here, of course, we're going to make people pay when we start losing stuff here. So whenever Butcher Malakir or another creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. So if you think about you lose 1, everybody else is losing some, you're getting 4 counters on your commander. So pretty good there. Grave Pact, same sort of thing. Dictate of Erebos, of course, same thing with Flash. Sheldred the Whispering One, you make people sack. The Elenda triggers off of anything, a creature going from play into the graveyard. So really good. Even if you're losing stuff, Sheldred is one of the nastiest creatures. You can just wrestle a match away from somebody really easily with that second ability. The first one, beginning of your upkeep, return target creature from graveyard to battlefield. Really, really strong there. Some really good ones in here just to kind of maybe get some utility out of your vampires. Skull Clamp, of course, if you equip, you're going to get to draw some cards and kill that creature. You don't care because you're going to get a death trigger, hopefully, if your commander's in play and you're drawing some cards. And it's pretty cheap to play and equip. Really great card. I imagine most of you have seen Skull Clamp in action with 1/1s. It's really, really good. You don't want it to happen for long if you're an opponent. Black Market, of course, whenever a creature dies, put a charge counter on it and get black during your pre-combat main phase, equal to the number of deaths. So pretty strong, especially to play something big after a board wipe or something. Like, you want to like piggyback on the deaths on the board, and this card helps. Ashnod's Altar, great sack outlet. Sack add double diamond to your mana pool. Not too bad. The next one, of course, Phyrexian Altar, you can sack and add one color of any color to your pool. So good to help pay the white in your costs. The next one after that, Phyrexian Tower, sacrifice a creature, add double black to your mana pool. So a couple really good sack outlets for mana in this case, either colorless, any color, or double black. The next one should be to gain some life. So again, a cheap pay here on the second part of High Market. Tap, sack a creature, gain a life. Not bad. Mirroring the Moaning Well is another good one. I kind of skipped it because it costs 3 to activate, which is a little steep if you ask me. I'd rather be doing this every so often just to gain a life rather than all the toughness of a creature, just to help easily trigger some death effects. Attrition is another great one. Pay a single black. Like, imagine if you just get blown out by something horrible, like Cyclonic Rift or something. You could sacrifice a creature, destroy target non-black creature. Pretty good. Over and over, you hopefully have a bunch of stuff. You might even kill your commander to get a whole bunch of creatures to pay black and start killing stuff. Amazing. Of course, ways to trigger a bunch of death. Massacre Berm is one of them. When he enters the battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2. I've seen this kill the board and kill players, because the next thing it says, whenever a creature an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, that player loses 2 life. I've seen people with small Avenger of Zendikar armies, pick up their decks with this card hitting the board. Elish Norn, of course, very similar. You get +2 on your creatures, so all of a sudden you're running around with 3/3 vampires with lifelink, and other opponents' creatures get -2/-2. A huge, huge swing, of course. Another one I'm sure you've all seen. Black Sun Zenith, another great one, giving -/ to each creature. Maybe not be as good, because it can hit your commander, but it's not bad, especially if you wipe out a whole bunch of stuff all in one turn. Grappling Hook is one of the equipments there. Making Elenda a little bit beefier with the double strike would really help, and then if she's got some death counters on her already, making it so that she can pick a creature she can kill, killing it and getting more counters every turn. Really good techie card, especially if somebody's got something they aren't willing to swing with. You can make them block, kill it, get more counters. It's an amazing equipment. Little steep on cost. That's my one regret. Cauldron of Souls here for Persist. Really good when you've got +1/+1 counters. They will cancel each other out. Really great card, especially to help survive some board wipes. Not as good with the token aspect, but a really good include for almost any deck, if you ask me. Anointed Procession, of course. If you lose your commander, now you've got double life-leaking vampires. Really awesome card. I'm glad white has this mechanic as well, because green was good, but now having it in white opens it up here and there as well. One planeswalker I wanted to include, Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. That second ability, you can see you get an emblem with creatures you control get +1/+0, so 2/1 vampire lifelinkers when Elenda dies. Pretty good. And then also just making a creature with his plus, not too bad either. Doing that twice, if you can keep him around for 3 activations, that'd be a pretty good way to set yourself up for the rest of the game. And that's pretty much it. If you guys have any additional cards you'd like to add to this list, put them in the comments. Let us know. We'll probably be doing some gameplay with this commander, Elenda the Dusk Rose. So check out those. Check out also the other Rivals of Ixalan brew previews. We're going to try to do one for each legendary. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you next time.